Hey everybody, River Rentals MB here. One thing that we wanted to take the time this weekend was to kind of dive into and tackle an issue that I see loading up my YouTube suggested feed. We see it in our living rooms when we watch conventional news outlets, is the doom and gloom, bad news sells. It's the housing crisis here in Canada. So if you want to be able to get an understanding from a mom and pop landlord's perspective on the rental market and rental crisis that's happening here in Canada, you're about to hear it. So one thing that is really glaring that's happening right now is our major cities are most certainly drawing our rental market and our housing market down right now. More in particular, the condo markets in both Vancouver, Toronto, and a little bit in Montreal, it sounds like. Every major city seems to have an issue, and what is it? Well, as landlords or investors, people were buying up these condos, let's say at $500,000. I understand that's not a large sum for some of these condos, but $500,000, they were told, hey, if you rent this thing out, make $100, or heaven forbid, not even break even. Some people were sold a bill of goods that, hey, you can lose $100, $200 a month. It's a big savings account because in 5 years, that $500,000 condo, you'll probably be able to flip it and sell it for $250,000 profit, be it $750, $800, whatever the market trends have been over the last couple of years. The problem with that is our condo market has not seen the increase over the last little bit, and people are starting to not make their payments. So what's starting to happen? It's bringing down the rest of the country. So right now, rents have dropped between 3.5% and 5%, depending on the market in those major cities. I know there's a lot of renters out there that are gonna, have a resounding hurrah for that, and I get it. I understand it. I know you want to see more relief. Rents are high here in Canada, but it's not always caused by the landlord. So, especially in our rural markets or less big cities that, people weren't advised, what I would say haphazardly, to just jump into the rental market and not make money in cash flow. People weren't taking into consideration that there's higher expenses that are coming our way, and they, over the last couple of years, have most certainly have already hit us. Higher insurance rates, property taxes, just the cost to repair average things. If you try to get a handy person to come in and take control of a situation, not hiring a skilled tradesperson, you're still paying what I would consider top dollar for that. People need to be compensated for their time, but also with less tradespeople entering the workforce, we're most certainly feeling that as well on the landlord side of things. And unfortunately, the cost gets passed on to the tenant. Like it or leave it, the big companies will move in as mom and pop investors move out. So mom and pop investors, you can have 1 to 15 properties. The amount of properties doesn't so much mean if you've made it big or made it small, I guess. It's one of those things where looking at somebody as a big company, less personal connections with people that they are renting to and their properties. So you see property conditions lessening, rents still going up, and someone that's renting in a building, all of a sudden, instead of your well-being being looked after as being a well-kept tenant, you're paying your bills on time, everything's going great, and now all of a sudden, these big companies are coming in, they're jacking the rents up, and they're moving anybody into that building, and that building's no longer safe. These are things that we are seeing in these cities because it's profit over people instead of people over profits. And listen, I would be lying if I said we weren't in this business to make money. Of course we are. But there's a way to do business, and there's a way to treat people. And we're noticing that though there's a housing crisis and it feels like the weight of the world is coming down on people that can't afford homes and can't secure adequate housing, that's safe and reliable. Well, what's going to happen when mom and pop investors, people that have a little more of a personal touch, are forced out of the market? That's not good for anybody. So it's one thing that we want to drive home as an investor, speaking to investors out there. Be sure to run your numbers. Don't believe in professionals, and I use that term quite loosely, that are just trying to make a sale, or they're trying to get you to invest. Don't believe this garbage of the profit margin can be less, or can be almost in the negative, because real estate's a safe investment and it's always going to increase. We're seeing it right now. People are getting caught with their pants down, and it's not a good feeling, I'm sure, for a lot of these people, because they're not only are they losing their monthly profit or monthly income that they were making off this, they're also going in the hole, and they're losing value on the type of asset that they were sold was going to be worth, 50%, 100% more within a short period of time. So trust yourself, figure out your process when trying to invest in these things. And as for the people renting out there, one thing that I want, and I hope we can get to the point where we can kind of see a little bit of good here. In the comment section, could you please write a great story that you had when dealing with particular landlord? So especially if it's not the big major companies. I understand this seems to be like I'm pushing on them because it's not me, that it seems like I'm like, hey, it's all their fault, it's all their fault. But at the end of the day, I know what we personally hear when we're talking to our renters, and that's what fuels me. I love hearing great stories of how we are taking care of people that we have housed in our buildings, because it means we're doing something different. Because trust me, we hear a ton of personal stories and we listen to each one of them, and it's one of those things when you're listening to it, I don't know how they didn't explode with anger, because I know I wouldn't want to live that way. So in the comment section, please just share a good story of how you were treated. It could be simple as, I made a service request and they showed up in an appropriate amount of time. And I know that means we are pretty far gone if that's all that constitutes as a good story. But out in, be it YouTube land or anywhere else, it just seems like everything is a negative. And I will talk personally about how we have great tenants living in our spots. And I hope and I know that they have great stories about us as landlords and how we treated our tenants. So again, just wanted to do a quick video on the housing crisis, all the negativity we're hearing, what's happening, and what may be to come if we push out these smaller investors and bigger corporations come in. So I don't know what the answer is for these major cities. I know in our area, we're doing our best to buy one rental at a time to try to provide safe and reliable housing for people within our community. And I hope there's more landlords out there that are doing the exact same. So anyways, guys, like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. Make sure that you keep up to date with all of our videos, our walkthroughs. We're about to just come and wrap up our full gut that we had to do after one of our rentals was terribly, I guess, renovated in the past before our purchase. So we have some great content coming up, and we've had some past great content, so be sure to check that stuff out, guys. Thank you for listening on this weekend. Bye.